Eylon Levy, what's the latest that you can tell us, sir? What's the situation on ground right now?
The latest is that Israel is under a massive Iranian ballistic missile attack right now. For the last hour, sirens have been going off across the whole country. Everyone in the country is now under orders to stay inside a rocket shelter until further notice. Israeli media are reporting over 400 missiles fired from Iran. This would be the biggest ballistic missile attack in history. Let's remember, this didn't start today. This didn't start yesterday. Israel has been fighting for its life against the Iranian regime and its proxy armies for a year now on 7 fronts. This started with the attack by Hamas on October 7th, an Iranian proxy army, continued the next day with Hezbollah in Lebanon, another Iranian proxy army, and since then every day we have had missiles coming from Yemen, from Iraq, from Syria, and now from Iran itself. Israel is truly in a fight for its life.
You're saying Israel is in it for its, fighting for its life. Many would argue and have been arguing that Israel went into Lebanon at a time when Israel could well have, dialed down or toned down the tensions and pressure. America was saying, do not escalate. Joe Biden was saying, the US president was saying, let's have a ceasefire. Did Israel have to go into Lebanon? And is this a direct response to that, sir?
Yes, Israel did have to go in. Unfortunately, Hezbollah left us no choice. Hezbollah started firing rockets at Israel on October 8th, 2023. That's a year ago. For 12 months now, they've been firing rockets and missiles and drones at Israeli towns, over 9,000 missiles. We have tens of thousands of people who have been forced to flee their homes and cannot go home because Iran's proxy army in Lebanon has been bombing their homes. And we have spent the last year warning Hezbollah every single day, back off or we will have to push you away because we need to get our people safely to their homes. Hezbollah did not back off, and therefore Israel took action today to push it away because it ignored Israel's repeated warnings to stop attacking our civilians.
But this is leading to an escalation. The killing of Ismail Haniyeh in Tehran, the killing of Hassan Nasrallah, the killing of multiple, not just those who are targeting Israel, but also civilians from Gaza, now even in Lebanon, sir.
Israel has been targeting the terrorists who declared war against Israel on October 7th. And I imagine that Hassan Nasrallah and Ismail Haniyeh are now meeting in hell and thinking it was probably a mistake to declare war on Israel. Since then, we have been fighting to target the terrorists who have been firing missiles at us and attacking us on 7 fronts. It is horrible that civilians have been caught in the crossfire. It's horrible that they have been caught in the crossfire because Hamas and Hezbollah and Iran's other proxy armies deliberately hide inside civilian areas, under UN facilities, to try to make it impossible for Israel to target their military assets. But this is the situation. For the last year, we have been under attack on 7 fronts, and there is a central address: the Islamic Republic of Iran, which wants to destroy Israel and has surrounded Israel with terrorist armies armed to the teeth with ballistic missiles to execute their plan of destroying the Jewish state and murdering all of us and wiping our country off the map.
If 400 missiles have been fired in the direction of Israel, what will Israel's response be, Mr. Levy?
Well, this is the second time that we have a massive Iranian ballistic missile attack. The last time was in April. And then Israel sufficed itself with a symbolic response to show Iran that we too have an ability to fight back. I don't think Israel's leaders are going to be able to suffice with a symbolic response now. We are under attack. We are fighting for our lives. The entire country are now stuck inside rocket shelters until further notice because there are missiles raining from out of the sky. And Israel is now going to have to make a very serious decision. What do we do about the terrorist regime that has surrounded us with terrorist armies and is firing missiles at us? And I think that Israel's leaders are going to have to very seriously consider a very powerful retaliation to Iran to make it clear you cannot attack Israel's people. You cannot force an entire country to run to bomb shelters, those who are lucky enough to have bomb shelters, and get away with it. We are going to stand up and we are going to fight for our lives and for our right to defend ourselves.
But are your American partners with you all the way, or with America going into election mode, are you apprehensive that you could get overwhelmed?
The United States has warned Iran that if it attacks Israel directly, there will be severe consequences. The Ayatollahs of Iran decided to ignore that warning, and I expect soon they're going to discover what those consequences are.
You've been the spokesperson of Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. You must have war-gamed Iran directly getting involved and targeting Israel. What is Israel's response going to be, sir?
This is a scenario that Israel has been trying to avoid all year by trying to fight back against the terrorists who have declared war on us. And every day since then, we've had rockets coming from every single direction. They can be coming from the north, the south, the east, or the west. And now Iran has decided to get involved in the fight directly with a direct act of aggression against the Israeli people. I imagine the government will have worked out various contingency plans for how to respond to Iran. And I think Israel has shown that it has an ability to reach anywhere in the Middle East. After Iran's Houthi pirates in Yemen fired ballistic missiles at Israel, Israel struck the port of Hodeidah. Those fires were seen across the Middle East. And I can only imagine why Iran's leaders do not understand that if they continue attacking Israel, Israel has a powerful air force that can strike targets inside Iran as well, if necessary, to make this threat stop.
And yet you could be struck from within, like it appears to have happened in Jaffa, in Tel Aviv, in the southern part of Tel Aviv, sir.
Indeed, we are facing not only rocket attacks and missile attacks and drone attacks, but also the threat of regular terror attacks. Just in the last hour, we had a shooting attack on the Tel Aviv light rail, reports of multiple people killed, many more wounded, and it's a reminder that Israel has to remain vigilant, because we are fighting against evil enemies who have no compunctions about murdering innocent people simply riding on a train.
In a scenario like this, and I know you're very busy, but I want to understand, is there a way to dial down the tension, the escalation, or have you wargamed it that you're on top of that escalation ladder all the way?
Look, I imagine the military will have considered several responses, but the response cannot be restraint every time, because that is an invitation to aggression. If a country fired 400 ballistic missiles at India, I don't think the Indian people would say, let's turn the other cheek. Because if you do, you are telling the aggressor to do it again, because there will be no consequences. Iran has surrounded Israel with a coalition of proxy armies and is trying to hide behind them, because it knows that it will avoid consequences. There have to be consequences for aggression. And that's why it's so important that Western countries have lined behind Israel and said that they support its right to defend itself not only against Iran, but against its terrorist armies as well, and that the United States has warned Iran that there will be severe consequences for attacking Israel. Aggression has to have a price. Otherwise, aggressors do not learn their lessons, and the attacks will keep coming and coming until they are stopped.
Sir, are you biting more than you can chew? You have one adversary. You're fighting the Hamas for the past 1 year. Yahya Sinwar still remains at large. You haven't been able to get back all the 100+ hostages that remain in their custody. You've opened a second front in Lebanon. Do you intend pushing? Does Israel government intend pushing the Hezbollah beyond the Litani River? Is that your aim? And deal with Iran directly?
I think you've got cause and effect backwards. Israel did not choose to be attacked by Hamas on October 7th. They did not choose for Hamas to take 250 hostages. We did not choose for Hezbollah to join the war on October 8th and fire 9,000 missiles at the north of Israel. We did not choose for the Houthi rebels in Yemen to start shooting ballistic missiles at us from Yemen. We did not choose for Iran's proxy armies in Syria and Iraq to fire drones and missiles at us. We did not choose for terrorists in the West Bank to start trying to resume suicide bombings against Israel. And we certainly did not choose for Iran to declare this act of aggression against us. We are in a war that we do not want, that we did not start, that we did not even expect. But we are under attack by a fundamentalist Iranian regime that is openly vowed to our destruction, openly vowed to our annihilation, and has activated a coalition of Islamic jihadist armies that share its goal of the extermination of the Jewish people. We do not want to be in this situation, huddling in bomb shelters and fighting for our lives. But the Iranian regime has declared war on us, and we will defend our